There is a supernatural world that surrounds us, and sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. You'll hear stories about the supernatural and so much more right here on Supernatural Confrontations. Folks, I love this platform because it gets people on the record that, you know, in most cases, their story never would be heard outside a small circle of friends. Now we're getting 10,000, 15,000, 30,000, 50,000. It's burgeoning, and I just love that. It's a great platform. If you have a supernatural confrontation, please email us at supernatural@lamarzulli.net. Our line producer, John Adam Hicks, will get back to you. We only need one email, and we'll get you on the show. We're backlogged right now, but we will get to everybody. And I just thank you for the folks that come on here and that are bold and courageous enough to come on and tell their testimony. I think you'll find this interesting, and we'll get into that. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Thick skin is for more than just protecting yourself against hurtful words. It also keeps you looking young. That's because aging can cause our skin to go from thick and supple to thin and less elastic. This decline is aggravated due to the 10% drop in our body's natural collagen production every decade after the age of 20 years old. But folks, it doesn't have to be this way. Help fight wrinkles and sagging skin with multi-collagen. Multi-collagen works by supporting skin texture, hydration, and skin elasticity. It's made with the top 5 critically researched types of collagen that help your skin's natural ability to fight back against wrinkles and sagging skin. Tens of thousands of Americans have turned to it to help deliver nutrients back to their skin. Don't wait. Get a bag now by going to healthwithla.com. That's healthwithla.com, or simply click the link in the description box below. Not only will you save 51% during their winter special, but you'll also receive several free bonuses to help you get started on the path to taking full control of your health for the new year, 2023. The best part is you have 60 days, money back guarantee. Click the link and thank me later. All right, folks, Happy New Year. Please go to healthwithla.com. That's healthwithla.com. So today's story is sort of interesting. It really ties into the whole burgeoning UFO phenomenon. And this gentleman is out in the country and something strange happens. Let's pick up a story from there, and I'll weigh in, of course, on the other side.
I've seen something like a circle, but not the kind that you see with crops pushed down.
Okay.
These were more like, how can you say it? Like you took a big round thing, perfectly round circle, and laid it in the grass till the grass died.
Wow.
They were about 12 foot in diameter, and there was 3 of them close to each other.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. That's okay. So where is the field, first of all? Is the field on this ranch?
Well, that field there that we're talking about is across the branch there at the home place where I told you about the first incident.
Okay. So how tall is the grass, first off?
Well, the grass around there, this is wintertime, so it's not that tall. There's a lot of different weeds and other things that'll grow in, and I guess it gets up to a height of about 6 inches, something like that.
Okay.
But this here, where these circles was completely flat and turned yellow.
Turned yellow, but they were perfectly round.
Perfectly.
They're about 20 feet in diameter. How close were they to each other? Like, how far apart were they from each other?
They were pretty close to each other. They were, I guess, 5 foot apart from each other.
Okay. Did they form like Did they form like a top one here? What did the formation look like?
Well, you would have had a top one like this and then two
Okay,
underneath it, kind of like in a triangle.
like a triangle. Did
Right.
anybody in your how far out is this? I mean, this couldn't be a prank. Somebody couldn't have gone in there with a bunch of Roundup and killed all that, correct?
Uh, it would be possible, but I don't see anybody that would have wanted to do that.
Right.
There's this whole family that lives around here.
Okay, I
A
get it.
lot of
So
family
you're way out in the country. Is that safe to say?
out in the country, but we do have neighbors, and they're related to my brother-in-law. They're
Okay.
all around us. You know,
So
sometimes people call
nobody's
it
gonna
town
do
family.
anything like that. Did anybody see strange lights in the sky around that
We've
time
seen
when these circles were made?
not during the time of the circles. My sister has seen something in the pasture like that, and we both of us saw one over a neighbor's house one night, but it wasn't not around that time of the circles.
When you saw them at your neighbor's house, what did it look like?
It you would have thought it was a helicopter up in the sky,
Okay,
but there's no sound.
no sound. And
It was just a white
how did
light.
it leave? How did it leave the area?
Blinked out, and that was it. No sound.
So I would let me ask you something. Where these circles were, has the grass regrown there now?
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
regrown.
Did
Yeah,
it take a few years or did it come back to next year?
it came back the next year.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. So I guess it wasn't radiation. I don't know.
I would say that that's a UFO event, in my opinion. And the fact that you and your sister saw a UFO right over your neighbor's house, like a helicopter that just blinked out. So there's activity there. Um, Not the first time I've heard this type of a story, but very interesting, Larry.
Yeah, well, there's been a few UFO incidents in our family. I had one back when I was a teenager, with the whole high school choir saw the thing at the same time, and
Tell
my
me about that.
brother had an incident. Huh?
Tell me about the one where, in high school.
Well, I guess that was my freshman year in high school, or junior year. I was in the a cappella choir, and we was going to Corpus Christi for a competition, the UIL competition. And we stayed at a little place called the Shellfish Inn in Port Lavaca, not too far from the water. You can see the water from there. Nice little motel. And we set up the bleachers in the parking lot to practice. We set up but there's about a 200-person choir, a big choir.
Wow. Well, that's a big
It was
choir.
late afternoon. It was late afternoon, and the parking lot had these posts out there with these white, round, yellowish white lights on them. And we did one song or something. Then it was the choir director said, "Look at that!" And we looked up, and there was one of these yellowish white lights that didn't have a pole underneath it. It was right up in the middle of it.
Right.
And as I remember, it was slightly oblong as opposed to being perfectly round. And everybody was, talking back and forth about it and all this. And a little bit of light left in the sky. The sun was down, but a little bit of light. And this thing just went straight up, made a little hiss noise, had a little wisp of smoke left there, and it was gone.
Wow.
And that was it. That was the experience right there. And everybody just, that they couldn't believe what they saw, and we knew it wasn't anything of the earth that we know about.
Right. Absolutely not. Well, Larry, thanks so much for coming on the record. Very interesting with the circles in the field. I find that fascinating. And, they have done this before. And in some cases, the grass never grows back. That's why I asked you that question. And in some cases, it's just dead forever. It just never grows back. So I just find that really interesting. And thanks so much for coming on the record. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome very much. I enjoyed it.
So there you have it, perfectly made circles in a field. And of course, this ties right into our shameless plug, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Number 5, our UFO film is on crop circles. You'll find this incredibly intriguing. We're calling it Convergence. Why? I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to wait till the film gets released. But I worked on it all day yesterday. And I think it's an important film because what it does is it brings what happened in antiquity and what happens in modernity, and it makes them converge. And that's all I'll say about it. But these circles that people see, lights in the sky, circles that appear on the ground, something is going on. Folks, we do live in a supernatural world. I had an email this morning from a woman pointing me to some UFO film or something. And I just wrote her back and I said, are you aware that we, Spiral of Life, our production company, we're the only Christian film company out there. We have 4 films on the whole UFO phenomena. And each one progresses till number 4, where we actually talk about the abduction phenomena. We sit down with people who have been taken, several of them from very early childhood. It's a visceral, riveting documentary. And you can get all 4 of those by going to lamarzulli.net. Number 5, of course, is on crop circles. Number 6, we're doing cattle mutilations, and we're looking for people on ranches that actually have pictures and stories about cows that were mutilated on their property. If you're such one person, please shoot me an email to la@lamarzulli.net. la@lamarzulli.net. We might drive or fly in to see you and get you on film if you're up for that. Because the cattle mutilation and all of its complexity ties back into the abduction phenomena. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Anyway, folks, have a great weekend. We are rapidly closing this year out. We'll see you on Monday when it will be 2023. If you'd like to donate to our move, we are moving everything out to California. So if you want to do that, you can go to lamarzulli.net and you can support what we do here. It takes a lot of work, and I just want to thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this, hit the subscribe button down below. We're up around 172,000 people. My gosh, that's a lot of people. And again, I want to thank you all for coming here day after day after day. It puts the winds in my sails. Let's put it that way. It really does, and it's encouraging. So anyway, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you right back here on Monday with another episode of Supernatural Confrontations. Remember, the supernatural world is real and surrounds us, and sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. Happy New Year, everybody. Something very dark and disturbing is happening. It is a global phenomenon that knows no boundaries. It adheres to no cultural mores. And the ones who are engaged in this nefarious activity do so with impunity. People are being taken against their will, in the cover of darkness, in the dead of night. They are subjected to bizarre examinations that are often sexual in nature. These people are terrified, violated, confused, and with no place to turn to, as who would believe them? This is their story.